Hey everybody, it's Ron Hoon wishing you a good Tuesday so far. What a crazy situation happened last night in the middle of all that storm. There was a plane that was coming in to land at Sky Harbor from Houston, and there's some word that they may not have had enough fuel when they shut the airport down. You know, they did have to close it during the middle of the storm. They may not have had enough fuel to get to some of the other cities that we see. So our Trenton hooker is digging into this and is really fascinating. He's working up some sound from what was happening with the air traffic control folks and the pilot, Celeste, and also the track from the plane, watching what it was doing. I mean, it's really pretty wild.
Yeah, and I bet it was kind of going in circles a little bit when you're able to track the direction that those pilots are trying to avoid the storm.
Sure.
And so maybe this was a way they were trying to save fuel.
Yeah.
You know, and they thought, you know, people are going to get home faster or where they need to go if we just, call it a day and land at Luke.
It would definitely concern me if I was on that plane and I realized maybe there's not enough fuel on the plane to get us to Tucson or wherever it was, Vegas. I mean, we're going to find out a lot more. Hoping to get. Matter of fact, I think Trenton got a statement out of United Airlines. Anyway, it's all coming up. Stay with us. Here comes FTT. It's 10 o'clock, and this is Fox 10 Talks. Good morning, everybody. It's Ron and Celeste, loving to hang out with you, and boy, do we have some stories for you today, including that wild situation in the middle of the storm last night where those United pilots apparently felt like they had no other option with Sky Harbor closed but to land over at Luke Air Force Base. So what would you do if you were on that flight? The whole story's coming up. Trenton Hooker working on it. Also today on FTT, we have how voting's going. Plus, there's a big change, Celeste. If people have their early ballot, but they didn't get it in the mail, they want to drop it off today, there's a new plan. We're going to explain what it is.
Yes.
That will... This is one of the more brilliant ideas to come out of the state in a while. It should speed up the vote counting a lot. Okay, so that's coming up. The controversy over paying for a window seat, but you get on the plane, there's no window, there's a wall.
It's crazy. That's happened.
Josh Kolsrud looking into it.
We got our legal eagle.
Our legal eagle. And smart toilets are coming. This is, I'll just tell you right now, it's Celeste's favorite story of the morning.
It really is, because AI is trying to infiltrate us in the restroom. That is a private space, Ron. We do not need AI in the bathroom. Although
Correct.
This is kind of an interesting story on what AI is able to detect simply from the toilet seat.
I don't know if I even want to know, but the story's coming up. So, good morning, everybody. By the way, if you are watching us on TV, if you're watching us on Fox 10 right now,
yes,
come on over and join the friendliest chat online on YouTube.
Right. So what you do is you go to youtube.com, do a search for Fox 10 Phoenix, and then you can look under the live little button. There's a menu button that says live, and you'll find us there, and then you can join the chat. And let's give a couple people, Ron, a big shout out in the chat this morning.
Yes,
Thomas Brown, we got a lot of regulars. Deborah's there here this morning. Jared of Sonora is here. Good morning, everyone. And we love that all of you are kind of saying good morning and hello to everybody, because it really has become a community.
And look at what Dave's doing. You know, he runs the main Fox 10 Phoenix. That's the check mark with the yellow right there. 12 likes already. Let's get to 25.
That's right.
I think it's going to happen, Big D, and you are the leader.
Thank you, guys.
Big D.
Our video, keep sharing our video. We appreciate you.
Let's get to Trenton right now.
Hey, guys.
Trenton, your mom was supposed to be on this flight last night that was circling, and everybody's like, what are we going to do?
Yeah, quite a stressful day in the Hooker household. We're also on baby watch. My wonderful wife is about to give birth, but had a little false alarm yesterday. But
we
my
got a message. He's on Trenton's on paternity leave, and all of us were like, oh, okay,
it's happening. Yeah, we're going. But no, my wife soldiered through it. We had a false alarm, but we're still waiting any moment for our baby boy to come.
Okay.
So yeah, we're there.
Yeah.
But
so let's track. Let's first of all do this. Oh, you know what, Trenton? I think we actually have the flight path. Let's
Fantastic.
show everybody. Talk us through it. What happened?
So this is 8:49 last night, and if you remember, certainly our weather experts were saying, "Hey, monsoon storm coming in. We were getting hit in the East Valley, and it was approaching Sky Harbor. So they were expecting gusts up to 68 miles per hour. So they were doing a hold for all flights incoming to Sky Harbor. Okay. But this United flight from George Bush International Airport in Houston, they ran into trouble a little bit before that. According to FlightAware, they had said to air traffic control that they were declaring a minimum fuel emergency. Didn't have enough to keep it in the air. And the understanding is that the closest airport that would have been safe for them to land their size of that 737 was Luke Air Force Base.
Yeah, well, they were over there in the West Valley. I love that you pulled up this track here.
Yeah.
This is kind of surprising to me that they didn't. I mean, I get that they did a loop down there kind of by the Mesa Gateway Airport, and they had to do another one up by Sun City, but still, you would think they would have a few more.
Well, and Goodyear was right there. Goodyear Airport, which we know can certainly handle planes of that size. I mean, that's where all the Spirit Airlines are.
You know, I think we can just be grateful the fact that they were able to land safely. And they probably were looking for a safe spot. When you look at, hasn't everyone been at home and in the middle of a big storm system? You got friends and family flying in, and you're watching the FlightAware, and you're looking at the track. You're in the middle of monsoon season, and you see these planes circling, and you're like, oh man, I know we had a ton of storm activity, at least it seemed as though 50 mile per hour gusts.
And a 68 at Sky Harbor blows my mind.
Yeah.
Almost 70 miles an hour. I mean, it's crazy. I have, over the years, had to put down in Vegas on a flight that couldn't make it in, Tucson during bad storm. So it's just fascinating. Trenton, what else did you learn about it all?
So it was interesting to see. We're still trying to get in touch with some of the folks that were on that flight, but we were seeing on social media that they were, once they touched down, escorted onto the Air Force buses to take them to Sky Harbor as that plane stayed there at Luke. So
what about their luggage?
Weren't able to get their luggage, unfortunately. I saw as of a couple hours ago, people were posting. So I know United's still trying to work with them on that.
Really?
But we did get a statement from United just acknowledging that the crew were working with air traffic controllers, and we arranged for buses to take the customers to Sky Harbor, they said.
Okay.
But everything was safe. There were 154 passengers on board and 6 crew members.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So good work to those folks there for, seconds and even milliseconds matter in those situations. And by all intents and purposes, they did the right thing and landed safely.
Maybe the pilot was a former Air Force pilot.
Could be.
That's a great thought, Celeste.
And maybe they felt most comfortable landing there. I interviewed some F-16 pilots out there one time, and I mean, it's in tip-top shape. Those guys keep the look. I mean, they have to. They're the military.
Right.
Well, and muscle memory kind of takes over.
Yeah.
So do we know about the military investigation of the plane? You have a plane that lands that you weren't expecting. Are they going to release it at some point today or next couple of days?
I would think they would, but when it's the military and there's so much moving parts there with a secured facility, it's going to take some time, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, your mom is lucky she got the earlier flight.
No kidding.
My gosh.
Yeah.
These
hour
poor
before.
Folks, it's like, welcome to Phoenix. Your luggage right now is...
We don't know. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's classified.
It's classified.
Yeah.
So we buried the lead, but is she here for baby watch?
She is. Yeah. So we're excited any moment.
We are
That's
too.
So, is
Thanks,
it a
guys.
boy or a girl?
It's going to be a little boy.
Oh, how sweet.
Great.
Trenton
Okay.
Jr.
Trent
Thank you,
doing a
guys.
TJ.
great job on that
Appreciate
story,
it.
reaching out to United, getting the statement, getting you the flight track. I think if you can join us at 11:30, you may have some of the sound between the pilot and ATC, correct?
That's the hope there. Yep.
All right.
We'll be there at 11:30. Thank you.
Good work, buddy.
Appreciate it,
Okay.
guys.
Hey, so let's also talk about what is going on in the voting situation, Celeste. Are you ready for this? We're going to go to Danielle right now. She is at, I guess you could call call it Election Central. Danielle, what's a good word on voting so far?
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. So it's been about 4 hours since the polls have been open, and so far at last check, there's been about 15,000 people who have checked in to the polls, voted in person. That's pretty typical for this type of election. You know, if this was a general election, we probably would see double that number of people heading out. So about 20 to 30% of registered voters will typically take part in the primary election. So it is still early, though. We have until 7 o'clock tonight to cast your ballot here. So we're at the tabulation center. We know that this is typically a really busy spot, especially right here in Maricopa County. So if you guys take a look behind me here, you can kind of see through those glass windows. There's nobody here right now, but they should be getting here later on this afternoon. They will be counting all of those ballots. We know that the first drop should come in right around 8 o'clock tonight. So that is when we're going to see some of those results come in. So if you still need to head out there to cast your vote, I want to mention this, locations.maricopa.vote. That is where you can log on there. You can find all the polling locations, also real-time wait times. I just kind of scrolled through some of the top ones, and everything is a 0-minute wait time, so I don't think there's any type of really long lines out there at any of the specific polling locations. Also at last check, no major issues happening so far, just some typical things, printer problems, other thing like that, but nothing causing any type of delays or backups.
Okay, all right. Now, Danielle, stand by, because Celeste, here's what we're going to do. It's a streaming show.
Yeah.
Kind of do whatever we want. We're going to go from
true?
We're going to go from Danielle live to Danielle a couple hours ago when she was talking to one of the top election officials.
We've already had over 2,000 voters check into vote centers throughout the county, casting those ballots. So it's pretty great to see. It's important that voters know that they can get out there before 7 p.m. to cast those ballots, turn in their affidavit envelopes if they've got mail-in ballots. A new thing this year is those voters that do have those affidavit ballots can get their
Okay, yeah, can get those signatures. That was the very thing. Danielle, do you want to dig into that for us just a little bit more? He was saying that it's one of those situations where we think it might actually speed up the voting process.
Yeah, that's right. So if you had that mail-in ballot still at home, you can go to any polling location. As long as you have your identification, they will basically scan it in and tabulate that rather than waiting for a signature verification, which would then typically make it take a little bit longer to make that vote count there. So hopefully this is a brand new thing. Obviously, they're trying it out this year to see if it is beneficial, but I think the whole point of it was to allow those results to come in much sooner.
Yeah, and the whole talk about that, Celeste, is that why can't people, what's so wrong with asking people to show ID, right?
Yeah.
So here's an opportunity to actually put it into practice. You've got that, as they call it, the late, early ballot. And honestly, you know, when we have to wait day after day, not as bad as California,
right?
But almost. You know, in terms of counting and waiting, this really should speed it up.
Let's hope it does.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we there's been plenty of years where we're waiting days and days.
And some of these races could be really close.
Yes.
Danielle, did you get a chance? We only got like 30 seconds left. Did you get a chance to chat with voters when you were out earlier this morning, or was it pretty quiet?
No, I'm here at the tabulation center. I've been here all morning long, so there is no voters coming here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe you want to talk to that guy behind you? I mean,
ask him what he's searching on his phone.
They're all in the media, so I don't think so.
Okay. Okay, Danielle, great. We're going to check back in with you at noon and see. By then, it could be a beehive of activity.
So I was actually checking. Danielle, great job out there today, by the way.
Danielle.
Thank you, Danielle. I was taking a look at the Maricopa website where they have all the locations. Sure. They will give you wait times. They'll tell you how many people are in front of you.
Yep.
And they're pretty wide open right now. So.
It looks like it's running very smoothly, and especially considering the fact that they said by 7 a.m., that's when she had that interview, there were already, I think, over 2,000 people that had been voting. They're going to be a pretty good sized number of people voting today, I got a feeling.
That's right. There's a pretty good number of people living here. Your mystery camera. We'll be right back.
Well, Celeste, I have to tell you, by the way, there's a preview of the mystery cam. Start noodling around. Finally, we found a picture of some place that's not smoky and hazy up by Canada.
No, that's very true. It's very sunny in this shot here.
I don't know. Maybe it's Wisconsin, and I just haven't realized they have a big mountain, desert
mountain.
Right. Anyway.
So just to let you guys know, this is a sneak peek. We'll do the full reveal at 10:30, and we'll make sure to remind you. We'll show you again. You can throw your guesses in the chat in just a few minutes.
Celeste, one of my favorite things that we do on this streaming show called FTT, Fox 10 Talks, is what we call Mondays with Mike.
Yes.
Ask me what I think the second best thing is that we do.
It's Tuesdays with Mike.
Boom! Here he is.
We got it. We got it.
The star.
What is that, buddy?
Good to see everybody.
Now from Fox.
Yes. Good to see you
By the way,
guys.
he's right up the stairs, just about right above us right now.
Yes.
Mike, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well. And it's a big day in Arizona today.
Yes, it is.
I don't know if people could tell from maybe all the text messages you guys have been receiving or
gosh.
Haven't they been a lot lately?
Mike, I tell you what, about halfway through this whole cycle, Celeste, you'll love this. I decided whoever sends me the most texts, I'm not voting for them. Come on.
Sometimes
it's ridiculous.
Sometimes I think the candidates think if you could just, overload it.
Yeah.
And,
I know.
And you see that they tried to get a little bit like sneaky too. Like they'll do the first line like, I've been thinking about you.
Yes,
and then you
yes.
open it
You
and
thought
you're
it
like,
was-
oh, it's an ad.
thought it was your spouse.
Because otherwise you get a few of those texts once in a while, Mikey. Happily
Used
married
to.
man will point out. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about it, because I think that some people who maybe look at our elections here in Arizona are just might be a little surprised at how close some of these could be. What about these two veteran Republican names, Tom Horn and Kimberly Yee?
I know, and that is a one that it's like you've seen. Anytime you see the commercials where they're overloading, you know it's going to be close because each side feels like they want it,
and the signs are everywhere for these two.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so that's for school superintendent. Celeste, my feeling on this one is it is going to be close. I mean, basically, you've got the incumbent, but on the other hand, you have a long-time political leader down there at the state capitol who has lots of experience, and it's just a fascinating race. So that's one.
Well, I think, and here's the thing, we had Mike O'Neill, political expert, in yesterday, and what he shared was these two virtually agree on a lot of issues, including these two. And here's the thing with a lot of these Republican candidates, they really do. There's just a couple of small things that separate them.
Yeah.
With Horn and Yee, they both really agree on a lot of issues. It's just one person who's been in office many decades, and another who would be new to the post, Kimberly Yee, and so and she's right now running the money. So if you're concerned about money, and she obviously would know how to run it. She's a treasurer state level.
There you go, Celeste. Now this is the AG race. Glassman. It's funny. I don't think Trump's endorsed either one of these, but you watch their ads and you're like, oh man, sounds like Trump loves that guy.
Yes, the way they edited it is very like it seems like Trump is their best friend almost.
All right. Now, this to me is going to be fascinating.
Yeah.
Now, Mark Lamb, before all of the bad stuff broke, you would think with the Trump endorsement, probably could have been viewed as a runaway winner. But those ads that they were running against him, where, that one lady came on, she was like fighting back tears and everything. I think that maybe pulls a few emotional strings, and I'm going to be fascinated to see. He's got the Trump endorsement, but he's got to overcome all those ads.
Yeah, it really does. And if you feel as of probably within the last 5 to 6 weeks, the Keenan ads have really picked up.
Yeah, they have.
Not only the negative Mark Lamb ads, but also a lot of pro Keenan ads that you've been seeing. Probably about 4 weeks ago, you didn't.
Well, interesting, too, is that Keenan has paid for a lot of these on his own. He's actually footed the bill, and you think, wow, to be a politician these days, it takes a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to, maybe you have to have a clean closet, or else those skeletons are coming out.
That's true. That is true.
We see that over and over. You know that? I mean, I don't want to go down that road too much, but you got this Plattner situation in Maine, and you're like, if you had all that in your closet, as you say, in your background, or what, you really think if you're going to go for a big national office, it's not going to come out?
Yeah.
It's not like you're running for city councilman of Bangor, Maine.
Somebody's going to find something if you choose to run for office.
Correct. Unless this guy runs clean
as
a
a
whistle. Celeste, right here. Okay. Any other thoughts, Mike? Danielle had an official on at 7 o'clock this morning, and within 1 hour, there were thousands of people who showed up to vote in person.
You know, I was just going to say that because I was thinking, I think another story here is going to be what is going to be the turnout for today. Yeah. I think that one is, especially when you're not in a presidential one, it's sometimes a lot lighter.
Right.
So we'll see how it goes. And another thing I always think about, too, with Arizona, why... I know there's so many mail-in ballots that people do, but why does Arizona pick the primary on pretty much the hottest part of the year? You know, a lot of primaries across the country, April, May.
Sure.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Good point, yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know what my thoughts are on that. Should we change it to a different day?
I think you make a good point. And, you know, during the summer, I think a lot of people leave Arizona.
Yeah, if they can.
So is that strategic?
Right.
That only the people who were going to tough it out through the Arizona summer deserve a right to vote?
See?
I don't know.
The ultra-wealthy are in Aspen or something, and they're not coming back home to vote. All right, let's talk about, we were watching earlier today, Mike, the news conference. It's so fascinating. Every time the president has a leader in, and this is Lebanon, a crucial ally in the Middle East. I mean, let's look at that for a second. Not that long ago, he had the new Syrian leader in, formerly big enemies of the U.S. The other day, he had the Iraqi leader. Today, he's got Lebanon. Iran should look at that and say, everybody wants to be their friend, not our friend. Right?
Yeah, but, you know, Iran likes to be this outsider. They like to be the problem child in the Middle East. I mean, look what they're doing to the Gulf. I mean, sending these missiles to, you know, Jordan and Bahrain and others. It's crazy right now, but they like to play this card. They've been doing it for 47 years.
Here's what the president said.
You're still speaking with Hezbollah. You said in previous interviews that you're speaking with Hezbollah.
I would say that, but I would speak to Hezbollah. Yeah. I speak to everybody. I'll speak to people that a lot of people think I shouldn't be speaking to, and things work out.
I would speak, Mr. President,
I would say this: if the president wanted me to speak to Hezbollah, you know, he's lived with Hezbollah for a long time, and if the president wanted me to speak to Hezbollah, I would.
Do you believe that Iran has moved nuclear centrifuges into Pickaxe Mountain? And when you say we're not done yet, what is left to finish?
Well, I think that they may have. We don't have it on record. All we do is read the fake news. You know, we see the news is so wrong so many times. So, you know, maybe this one they have right, but it's okay. It doesn't mean anything unless they have the material. You're talking about the centrifuges. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything unless they have the material. They don't have. We follow the material. That's where the action is, and we'll be hitting that area probably pretty soon. And there's not a thing they can do about it. You know, normally I wouldn't say that. If I thought they could do something about it, I would never say that. But we'll be hitting that area pretty soon, and very heavily.
I think about some of our previous presidents who could go months without even having a news conference.
Right.
And with this guy, it's like every day he wants to talk.
Yeah.
Right? To the media. And
just for clarification, when he says fake news, he's not talking about Fox 10.
Thank you.
We're the exception to the rule.
I always go back to when he was a brand new candidate in 2016. One of his very first interviews was on the phone with us.
Yeah.
That was back in the Rick D'Amico days. And Rick interviewed him. It was a great interview. So, Mike, here we go. This is what we came up with for a poll question. And we have two versions, as we always do. The QR code is for people who see the QR code, meaning everybody who's watching us. And if you have an opinion on this, you can start to move these numbers around. If you haven't voted yet, you can only vote once. But should the U.S. escalate? 80% say, yeah, they have got to pay for the deaths of our service members. Almost 20% say no. If that's the way it's going to go, we could end up in a long, endless war. And then 1% are saying, look, don't escalate, but don't leave. let the blockade work because it worked last time.
All right, let's take a look at your numbers on YouTube and shifting a little bit from what folks on television are voting. The QR code that you see, the first poll, that's primarily television viewers. This one right here on YouTube. 1.3 thousand votes in the last 55 minutes. 40% of you say yes, they must pay for the deaths of our service members. 54% say no, we could end up in a long, endless war. And 6% say don't escalate, don't leave, just let the blockade work.
Here's a note for the Big D fan club. Right after the break, he will have your comments. Don't worry about it. He's coming. Okay, here he is right now working hard on that very situation.
Hey, buddy. Good morning.
But before we let Mike go, Celeste, I thought it might be kind of fun to talk about this one other story. They're going to release a card, Mike. Let me see. I think we might even have a picture of it here.
Do you want to get? Well, Ron's doing that. What are your thoughts on a toilet that's AI?
What does it speak to you? Kind of give you like advice for the day? Tell you about the weather? What's it do?
It's like Alexa, but it's a toilet.
Whole story's coming up in about 20 minutes on that. It's going to be hilarious. This picture, Mike, is apparently going to become a one-time only, one-card release from the folks at Topps.
Yeah, Topps is thinking, okay, we need to really capitalize on this World Cup. Let's do a one of one.
Okay.
And I mean, this is years in the making here. We're going back, 18, 20 years almost?
Yeah, 19 years.
19 years.
Because Lamal, he's 18.
Yeah, with Lamal now, who is going to pretty much take over for Messi as, the leader of soccer.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
19 years ago, they met. Isn't that incredible?
And there was another image that someone posted online, was this image with Lionel Messi holding Yamal, and then the image of them embracing after the final World Cup.
I love
and so you had them side by side, and it's a beautiful moment. Lionel Messi, it was so beautiful. I know they didn't win, they didn't even have a shot on goal, but afterwards you looked in the stadium and they had this shot of him in tears, and the crowd was just cheering for him because what a legend.
Oh, I know.
What a legend.
It was so great every time. I mean, even though Messi didn't have a shot there, really, any time that he touched the ball, the announcer was like, "And Messi has it."
I know. Even though he's 100 feet away.
Well, he had some great assists. It was like, oh, what a great pass. What a great slip through. It's like, oh my God, it was so fun. Now I'm like, what's next? I have to wait for American football now because the FIFA has ended. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Mike, 10 seconds. What's your prediction? How much will that card sell for, that one and only Lionel Messi?
650,000, I think, but it'll probably go over $1 million now with the markets they have.
Oh, wow. Okay, mystery camera. Put your guesses in the chat, and we'll be right back.
Great job.
All right, welcome back, everyone. This is your mystery camera this morning, and we've got some good guesses in there. We've got a New Mexico from Deborah and Linda. We also have an El Paso, Texas from Mike Lewis. And another New Mexico from B. Miguel.
Well, I like Thomas Favela and some of his guesses. See right at the top of the screen there. Thomas is pretty sure, ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at Yonkers, New York.
Yeah, maybe. I think I'm going to go with Texas on this one as well.
Yeah, I think
What do you think, Ron?
Matter of fact, we'll open Crystal's mic. Crystal, do you want to make it all three of us here, El Paso?
I lived in El Paso for 4 years, so I'm going to also go with El Paso.
All right, here we go. Here is your mystery camera reveal. El Paso.
El Paso.
All right.
El Paso, the way.
Crystal, on that picture, where is the Sun Bowl? The famous football stadium. Once a year, all of America tunes in for that great college football game on New Year's Eve Day. Is it kind of there?
I'm trying to decide where this shot is from because it could be a few different locations. Is it downtown?
Okay.
If it's downtown, then it's on the left side of the screen, but I'm not sure of the angle that it's at. It's kind of a weird shot because the Franklins are usually a lot bigger, so I'm wondering if we're looking at it from the point.
There is another vantage point that we usually see El Paso, and it's got like those huge mountains that are kind of like jagged, rugged,
so those are
jagged.
the Organ Mountains in New Mexico, in Las Cruces.
In Las Cruces,
Yeah. I love those mountains. They're good
so
hiking up
pretty,
there.
yeah.
So, you know what? When I finally realized what a huge metro area this is, because right across the border you have, I believe it's Ciudad Juarez, right?
Yep, that's Juarez, yeah.
Which is even larger than El Paso. I remember flying over it at night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what megalopolis?
Yeah.
I'm like, did we divert? Are we over L.A.? I mean, it's incredible when you add up the population of the two cities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's huge.
Huge.
It's huge.
Yes. Okay, so we said to ourselves, if we have a chance to bring Crystal on, she'll be joining us in our 11 a.m. hour as well with Ty and Anita. But before we get to you, if you don't mind, Dave is busily collating comments on the poll question. There's the poll question. Big D, what are you seeing?
Lots of really good comments on fox10phoenix.com/poll as well as on YouTube. Chip Bauer 361 says either fight to win or negotiate. The way that it is going now is really stupid. Joe Reel says we need to do what we need to do to end the war with Iran in a way that makes sure that they can't ever be a threat to the Middle East again. But that's also going to rely on the Middle Eastern countries stepping up to help keep Iran from rebuilding their country into a threat again. And Andrea and Gilbert says the administration promised to avoid a war with Iran, but then they started one. The administration promised to negotiate, but instead they bombed them first. The administration needs to live up to their promise to voters. They can end this, and they should. Really interesting comments. Keep them coming, guys.
Thank you, Big D. So, Celeste, I don't know if you saw on my X page, which is Ron Hoon Fox 10.
Okay.
Renee said, honey, it looks like a storm. You better get the garbage can in because Monday is recycle day.
Okay, ours is Tuesday.
Is that, what are you?
Wednesday over here.
Okay. See, we're all recyclers. We know our day.
Yeah.
Good. And I walked out to the street and I'm like, oh, what looks like it might be coming from the east is pretty impressive.
You could really hear it howling. Gary and I were actually in the family room and we were talking about stuff about the kids and he's like, oh my gosh, did you see the video out of Prescott? Like he was looking at his phone on X.
Yeah.
Right.
And maybe like 10 minutes later, then we heard this huge whoosh, like, and then
So loud.
we stepped outside and had to like check the patio umbrellas because it was really howling. It's been pretty active thus far.
Yeah, we've had quite a season. June, like the first day of the season, if you remember, like June 15th, we had a little something, and then it went quiet, and people started naysaying, like, oh, here we go, monsoon 2026, and we were like, hold up, and then the last like 10 days or so now, it has been, I think the 10th, what are we on? What is the 21st? 11 days.
Yeah.
It has been super active. And last night, it's so funny that we all had like our go to the yard and get stuff out because I text my husband. I was already in bed, but I wasn't asleep yet. And I said, you got to pull that grill in. It's coming.
Yeah.
And he was like, are you sure? And I was like, I am sure. Go get that grill.
Well, interesting. I mean, here's the thing is that monsoon starts the season in June and it goes through September. So we're not even really halfway into it.
Not even.
And so we're getting a pretty good start here, even though we started a little dry.
And the expectation was that this would likely be a good season, but that potentially the second half of the season could be the more active half. So if that ends up holding true with like a tropical influence, then we could be in for quite a couple of months ahead of us. So we'll see. But these are some of the numbers, guys. East Mesa ended up getting almost 3/4 of an inch of rain from yesterday's storm. Apache Junction had about 1/3 of an inch. Gilbert had about 1/3 of an inch. And then Tempe to Scottsdale had around like 1/10 of an inch or so. But the wind gusts were really exceptional. Now, I want to point something out. I checked earlier, and there was, in the minute data, there was a gust up to 68 miles per hour at Phoenix Sky Harbor. I noticed the National Weather Service wasn't reporting it, and it looks like they've pulled it out, like maybe they did quality control. But in the minute before and the minute after, or maybe it was like 10 minutes before, 10 minutes after, it was in the middle 50s. So I'm a little surprised, but I haven't heard anything from the National Weather Service about this. But either way, it was at least in the 50s, those wind gusts yesterday at Phoenix Sky Harbor. And that's what we saw as well in Chandler, Mesa, Scottsdale, all gusting over 50 miles per hour. I mean, yeah, you could hear it. I was worried for the trees in our backyard. I was like, hold on, little guys, please hold on. It was super windy. And now we're getting ready for the next round. Today is the last big round day. Tomorrow there'll still be some potential. And then the end of the work week, there's chances in the high country. But this is the last, it looks like, big day. Already clouding up in the high country. The temperature right now is 68 there in Flag. But look at, there's already these showers kind of scattered across the map. And you can see the motion is kind of in this kind of counterclockwise motion. So you've got this motion, I'm drawing it on the map here, that's moving this general way. This is a little system that's spinning up over Arizona that should help to provide some energy and lift to the storms as the day goes on. But right now, wet weather is moving over the international line in parts of southern Arizona. And then you've got scattered stuff that's over like Lake Havasu, moving into La Paz County. And then you have some scattered showers and storms that are just starting to wrap in from New Mexico over eastern Arizona. Because we're already so saturated with all the rain we've had consistently now, there are flood watches all over the high country in eastern Arizona throughout the day today. One of the concerns for the high country, like you said in Prescott, is the fact that rivers, creeks, streams may start to flood beyond their bounds. So people's backyards that maybe have washes that normally aren't running, suddenly they are running.
Or even like
that.
some of those hiking trails where you know slot canyons, things like that. Just beware, because that's where the water, you don't hear it, you don't know it's coming, but that water from up north, it can come flooding through at any moment.
Run down somewhere,
and you just need to be careful out there.
So here's the look at the future cast for the rest of the day, and the model does show these kind of like scattered showers around the state. I will say it's showing less than what's actually happening, but that might not necessarily fully impact our potential here because of the fact that we've got that spin up sitting over us. So this is around like mid-afternoon, 3-4 p.m. Scattered storms starting to strengthen some in eastern Arizona and up over the high country. And then the question will be, just like it was yesterday, can we hold the strength all the way down into the valley? And this particular model is saying yes again. This model nailed it on the head yesterday, so I'm still leaning on this because I think that it's still kind of grasping what our atmosphere is doing. And something that's interesting is, we've talked about this before, but yesterday we had more storms in the East Valley than the West, so we kind of zapped the battery in the East Valley, so to speak. So I wouldn't be surprised if the North to West Valley has a little better chance tonight. Not to say the East Valley couldn't get more rain or strong winds again, but potentially a better chance for the North.
Saying that they were in Greer this weekend and it poured on Saturday. It's got to be good for the forest. It was 53 degrees.
Yeah, and
isn't that amazing?
It's got to be good for our forest.
Yes. Absolutely. And we talked about this, I think, Crystal, the last time you were on, about how the Four Corners don't get a ton of rain, but you can see it up there now, that up on like the Hopi and the Navajo reservation, that they may get
some storms as well.
Which they desperately need it as well. I mean, the entire state does.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I think you guys would know this better than me, but didn't we have some fire restrictions lifted because of the fact that we've had so much rain? I think we reported on that at some point this morning. I don't remember exactly where it was, but so that is a good sign that we're starting to see some of those restrictions lifting because we've had so much wet weather that it's probably helping, like you said, with the forest grounds, and the grounds are getting a little bit more water absorption. The plants are getting more water. So hopefully we can keep it going. We don't want like a ton of flooding, but we just want like a good on and off storm potential all monsoon season, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Let's share some of our viewers. This was just some of the video. Some of these pictures, especially the ones to the left there, are coming in from Prescott Valley.
Yeah.
Those winds up there.
And there was hail.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mark Janes, thank you for this video. There was hail coming down in his front yard. And then Charles Jones is the middle part of that photo. Wow, it just rained so hard. And here's another one from Angela Wilson.
Thank you, Angela. Gosh, we love when our viewers, anytime we put that QR code up on the screen, that'll be a chance for you to share your pictures with us. And this is a great example, Celeste, of what you're talking about. Those washes that a lot of the times are dry. Suddenly, look how fast. I don't know if you guys heard, there's a story out of just north of us up in Utah. A whole family was wiped out last weekend in a flash flood.
Well, and the crazy thing is, if you recall that story, I think there were 9 people in that truck up in North Phoenix. Remember, they were crossing in a truck. It was several years ago. And
up by Jake's Corner.
Yeah. And they built a bridge there now over the wash. But it can get so scary so quick, and it comes down so fast.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Crystal, great reporting. There's some of the hail. As if on cue, we find the hail video just after Celeste mentions it.
Hail, yeah.
All right. Crystal will make a return in about 20 minutes on Fox 10 Talks with Ty and Anita, so don't miss that. Now, Celeste, before we go to break, we have to discuss the new guarantee at Burger King.
Yeah, I love a guarantee, Ron.
Yeah.
Because they're going to make it right.
It's funny because I used to love Whoppers, but I have to admit there were too many times that I would go through the drive-thru and the meat was not piping hot.
Oh, no.
It was medium warm.
Oh, so you knew they had cooked it a little bit ago.
Well, you're right. That had been sitting around maybe for a while, and then you'd see like somebody's fingertip poked in the bun.
They wanted to make sure it was still juicy before they served it to you.
But they flame broil, and that really makes it such a good burger. So here is the story in a nutshell. They're offering a Whopper guarantee. They got this new boss, and I love this guy. He says, if the customer is not happy with their Whopper, they will immediately remake it free of charge, so it's going to be hot and fresh. But it is all the time now. At least I've been there like 3 times since the new guy took over. And then you scan a QR code, and they'll give you a free Whopper on your next visit to make up for it.
Wow.
It's
That's
really
a great
so great.
deal.
Yeah. And they say they're going to be launching more new initiatives. That new guy came in and he said, we lost our way. But not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Home of the Whopper. Good for them. We love the burger talk.
That's really exciting.
If you guys have any burger talk, be sure to share it with us in the chat. That always gets everybody going, Celeste.
Yeah, or we already have some chatter on the AI toilet. So if you have a thought on that, let us know here in the chat. We've already have some good conversation on that. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. So what happens if you get on an airline, you pay for a window seat, you don't get a window seat?
Yeah.
Oh, now there's a big lawsuit, and Josh Kolsrud is going to walk us through that. But, Josh, I thought maybe first, the big headline this morning is about new tariffs. Now, this is fascinating to me. President Trump met with Mark Carney at the finals of the World Cup. And then he posted on Truth Social soon after that. Well, actually, before that, he said, Canada's got to get these fires figured out. They're polluting our skies. Maybe we should put a tariff on it. So now there is a tariff coming, but everybody's trying to say, I think at least for legal purposes, oh no, this has nothing to do with what the president posted 24 hours ago, that we're all fed up with how Canada can't solve these fires. They're just saying it's part of unfair trade practices.
And some things are exempt from, there's some things that are exempt from the tariffs, right? It's like critical minerals and a couple of other things.
Yeah, the tariffs that are proposed only cover about 5% of the trade that Canada and the United States do. So, what is this all about? I mean, is it the same thing that we just went through in February that went all the way to the Supreme Court, or is it something different? Well, after having taken a look at this, it's much different. So what happened in February when the Supreme Court struck down Trump's executive orders was that the Supreme Court said that the IEEPA, the International Economic Powers Act, did not provide Trump the authority to levy tariffs, and that it was in the purview of Congress. Here, it's different. It's actually a tariff act that specifically gives the president the power to levy up to 50% additional tariffs on countries that are shown to be discriminatory against the U.S. products. But this is going to have a lot of pushback, obviously, and the tariffs don't go into effect for at least 30 days. And within the 30 days, there's bound to be tons of lawsuits to stop the tariffs from going into effect. So what Trump is going to say, though, is that Canada is discriminating against U.S. companies. And this is a power that I have from the 1930 Act to levy these 50% tariffs. So it's a completely different argument than before.
What we saw last time, too, is that tariffs was a part of a negotiating tool, right?
Yeah.
And he wrote the book, The Art of the Deal, and he's kind of a businessman by trade, as we all know. So do you think that is part of it, too? Like maybe because it doesn't happen for another 30 days, that's like his window to Canada, like let's get something moving.
This is certainly in the shadow of negotiations for the JCPA, which is the trade agreement that the United States has with Canada. And right now, they're in negotiations for a 6-year trade agreement. And Canada, it was interesting. They didn't say that they were going to reciprocate and do their own additional 50% tariffs to match ours. They just said, we'll negotiate with the Trump administration. So that was interesting because their posture before, when Trump gave them the tariffs last year, was to levy tariffs against the United States too. But they're not doing that. So this is definitely being done for negotiation purposes.
Okay. Let's shift to a story I think we can all relate to.
Yes.
I think it's happened to a lot of people. You get on a plane, you paid for a window seat, you're there in about row 14 or something, and it's a wall. It's not a window. Josh and I were talking about this last week.
Yeah.
He thinks it's really fascinating. What have you learned as you've dug into it?
Yeah, it is fascinating because we all use United, and Delta is also part of a similar lawsuit.
But the big suit is against United, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's happening is that United was advertising a window seat and charging a premium of up to $50 or more for the window seat. And there was no disclaimer that said, well, a window seat just means that it's next to the wall, whether or not it has a window or not. So imagine that you buy a concert ticket for $5,000, expecting to be really close to the stage. And you get there, and it is really close to the stage. There's just a wall right there, and you can't see anything.
Gosh. That's a really good analogy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what's happening here. And so the next question is, well, if it's just over $50, are you really going to sue United about it? And that's why we have class action lawsuits.
Yeah.
Because it's not worth hiring a lawyer to sue United over $50. However, let's say you have 1 million people that are coming together and suing United for that $50 bonus or that $50 fee, then it becomes a $50 million lawsuit. And then they're also asking that all the profits that United made because of those false statements, go to the litigants. So it could potentially be much, much more.
So how does something like this begin? So let's say you have a gripe with, I don't know, some said company, and you're like, I was poorly treated. How do you start a class action lawsuit?
So the way to do it is to first Google the issue, because a lot of times there are consumer action groups that look for these issues among large corporations that may not be treating the consumers as nicely as they should. And you'll often see that you're not the only one that this has happened to. And once enough smoke is on the internet, there's going to be some plaintiff's attorney that finds it and then looks for a class of people to start a lawsuit. And here there were so many people complaining about what United did and Delta, that they came together and they formed a class action lawsuit before and went to federal court.
Do we know when they put the seat map up?
Yeah.
Did it show whether there was a window there? I mean, I'm trying to think when you buy your seat. I like to sit on the aisle most of the time. But if you're sitting on the window, do you actually know before you click purchase?
I don't think so. I just booked a flight last night, and it was just, you paid a certain price for the window. I'm more of an aisle person as well, so I picked an aisle, but I don't think there is. I think this may have started, and let's get both your thoughts on this. When they started cramming people in like sardines, they started those seats were inching closer, where in reality, every row did have a window seat. But as they tightened up every row,
That's a good point.
Then the window disappears for maybe a few people.
Right? You're like, there are plenty of times you sit down and you're like, well, I have a window, but it's like halfway between me and the guy in front of me.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
That's a really good point, Celeste. So do you think they can win this thing?
Well, I don't think that United can. And the reason why is they just lost a motion for summary judgment. In common speak, that's a motion to dismiss. So they asked the court to dismiss the lawsuit. And their argument was that anybody who buys a window seat knows that it could be just against the wall with or without a window. And the judge said, I'm not buying that. It looks like the plaintiffs have a legitimate claim here. I'm going to let the lawsuit go. So I fully expect that this case will likely end through negotiations.
I'll tell you what, this little light bulb just went off my head right now. Never thought of it till right now. Ding. But again, we come up with the ideas. We let you people at home employ them. So if you're like watching from United, here's what you do. What if you actually lowered the price of the middle seat? I know you have to pay a premium to be on the aisle or window. What if you took the average price and said, ding, $20 bonus if you're willing to sit for a couple hours in the middle seat? I wonder what that would do.
Oh, I bet they all would be taken, especially by like small people.
Correct. Right.
You know what I mean?
I know, because it's not always the smallest people in the middle. That's for sure. Okay, Josh, is this going to be? We're going to wrap up with you because Celeste has got the great story of the day coming up here. But time frame?
I would say that this case ends in the next year or so.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not going to be quick. These negotiations take time, and this is a civil case, not a criminal case.
Right.
So it does take a little bit longer.
And so if people are out there and they're thinking, hey, this has happened to me, can they still join the lawsuit?
Yes, they can. Just Google the class action lawsuit, and there will be information of who to contact and how to join the lawsuit.
Okay, great.
Celeste is such a busy person. She's busy doing the 7 to 10 a.m. broadcast with Ty.
Yeah.
And I rarely even see her in the newsroom. Every once in a while she'll pop in, or maybe she'll just, shoot me a Slack that there's a story of the day. And what crossed your desk today?
Well, this story was all about AI at your toilet seat. What are your are there any privacy concerns here?
Oh, absolutely.
Let's talk about a potential lawsuit.
Certainly class action all over the place here.
Well, what is it, Celeste? How does AI change your toilet seat?
So here's the deal. It's Smarter Bathroom Break. Health tech startup Kasana, that's the name of the company. They're launching a $200 smart toilet seat after years. There was research and development, gentlemen, research and development. The seat automatically measures users' blood pressure, your heart rate, your respiratory rate, blood oxygen every time you sit down with AI-powered sensors.
Okay.
So it actually helps to keep you in check with your blood pressure and everything else. So identify and track individual household members. The Seat's companion app tracks long-term health trends, has the option to share data with family members or physicians, but that's it. Only your blood pressure is what you're sharing. Something the startup is betting can help the 48% of adults here in the United States with high blood pressure who need consistent monitoring.
Wow.
Isn't that impressive?
So my thing was, and you just wait to see the way AI goes the next few years. I just wondered if it was going to time you out. Like, hey, buddy, you've been on for 10 minutes. Let's. Dave, I'm serious.
Maybe it's like, you've been here for 10 minutes. Do you have a hemorrhoid? You know, like, you've been here 10 minutes. Do you need some Metamucil? You know, like keeping your body regulated.
Well, I'll tell you, this is the direction AI is going in all seriousness. So I was chatting with one of the AI chats yesterday, and I'm working on a trip for next month. And toward the end, I said, so this is what I want to see. Here, here, and here, and here. Give me an itinerary. And at the very end, it was really like you were talking to a person, because it said, I've put a lot of itineraries together for this particular country. This is one of the best I've ever seen.
Wow.
And I'm like, I like the compliment, but come on.
Come on. Let me share a thought from Oken1194 in the chat.
Okay.
Says, can you imagine using the restroom and the toilet seats having a conversation with you, and then you could talk about invasion of privacy, which is what we were talking about, right? Yep. I mean, you saw the situation with 23andMe and invasion of privacy and things like that.
Well, there's also consent issues. I mean, what if you have a minor over, they're visiting your friend, your daughter's friend, and they use the toilet seat, and it's getting all this information on there from a minor. Was there a consent?
That's no good.
That's how great he is. He can share thoughts on anything.
There you go. Plus, what if it's a public toilet and you sit down and it's like, well, hello, Ron.
Yeah.
You know, it would get awkward.
How do you know it's me? Thank you for watching, everyone, and sharing your thoughts. Have an amazing Tuesday. Ty and Anita are next.
Hi, everyone. Welcome in. 11 o'clock, Fox 10 Talks, Ty and Anita.
Indeed.
Ty and Anita.
And Crystal.
Sorry, I couldn't help
We were
myself.
going to do a special intro for you.
You ruined it.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Gosh, jam-packed show.
It is
where-
indeed. Crystal, those storms kind of moving in, really windy conditions.
Oh my
Some
gosh, the
areas
winds were
getting
wild.
hit with even some rain. I got a lot of wind, no rain at my
We got
house. though.
both.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep.
I got a good dose of rain, and those winds, I was very worried for my trees in the
Yeah.
backyard.
Everything's
for the
okay?
grill, for Sophia's little toys. Seems like everything survived except for one small tree branch that I noticed
good.
was down.
You
But-
will rebuild.
Yeah.
She's going to try.
Should we discuss those rain totals?
Let's do it.
Okay. Well, I wasn't sure if there was like a little lead in or if we were going
Well,
right
whatever.
to
We're
the
following your
Yeah,
lead.
this is your in
We were going to
charge
introduce the
here.
queen weather expert meteorologist, but
These are the numbers from Maricopa County Flood Control District. So 24-hour rain totals, you can see that the biggest numbers were right as the storms moved into the valley from the east edge. So we had anywhere from like a tenth to a third of an inch in some spots, but all the way up to about a half an inch to 3/4 of an inch as you got to that line between like Apache Junction and East Mesa. So some really good totals there. I'm in Gilbert. Definitely felt like more than a third of an inch, I'm going to be honest, but that's what the gauge read in the Gilbert area. And then as you go a little farther into like Tempe and over to Scottsdale, the numbers drop pretty quickly, 2/10 to maybe a tenth or even under a tenth of an inch of rain, but still some rain. And I know, Anita, you're in Scottsdale. These numbers, it doesn't sound like are super reflective of what you experienced because it sounds like you had some heavier rain.
I thought I did, but I may have been like sleep deprived or like
and the
under
winds
the
did make it sound
influence,
super
hallucinating.
Well,
under
sometimes
the
you don't have a gauge right on the. Oh, well, don't reveal too much.
I took a lot of magnesium last night.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Anything to sleep through the winds. But those are the totals that we had. There was also a cluster of some heavier rain that fell in like Cave Creek Carefree area, as you can see, getting up into the foothills and then eventually up to the mountains where we were like a half to 3/4 of an inch of rain. And then sadly, and I've seen some comments in the chat. Good morning, everyone, by the way, but about like my West Valley didn't get much, and you're right. This is all I could find in the West Valley. It was one report of a few hundredths of an inch. So there were some showers, but they were pretty brief in the West Valley, even if they were, heavy for that brief period. But the winds were still pretty wicked in the West Valley as well. So everyone noticed the winds. And we already have storms that are firing up again. And I pointed this out when I was on with Celeste and Ron a moment ago, but I'll do it again. There's this counterclockwise motion to the storms that's going on here. And this little spin is what's going to help to trigger the next round of storms this afternoon and potentially down into the valley tonight as well. So that's kind of the little energy or lift that we need for those storms. Now, when it comes to the showers down to the international line, just rain. I don't see any lightning or thunder with the exception of one cell, it looks like, over in Yuma County. There is, though, a flash flood warning that was triggered in Sierra Vista, far southern Arizona. So we're in like Cochise County area for 1:45 this afternoon, through 1:45 this afternoon because of the rain that's been very persistent there. So they've got some flooding concerns. And then as we head farther north, this is Mojave County, scattered showers kind of wrapping through northern Mojave, about to hit Kingman, and then a wave that's passing by Lake Havasu. And then there's the White Mountains and onto the state line with New Mexico, where this is what we'll have to watch for some of the stronger activity to potentially come from here and move our way. So like you see some of these storms in this like general area. Okay, my circle isn't great, but you see what I'm circling. So those are going to be wrapping towards Arizona, and then eventually that wave may be able to make its way down to the valley by tonight. The high country still has at least some chance of storms throughout the week. Today is the best chance for like fairly good coverage of strong storms and some heavy rain. Tomorrow, another round of storms, although it might be a bit more scattered. And then spottier coverage Thursday, Friday, and few storms, it looks like, at best by Saturday. So the risk level drops after today in terms of like flooding concern or some damaging winds. But if you look, this is the 7-day forecast. It still shows the high country in that like blue to purple stretch, which is that 1 to 2+ inches of rain that may accumulate in these next couple of days specifically. For the valley, can't rule out a heavier storm, but generally speaking, like say a 1/4 of an inch or below for storms that may pass through. So the winds become a bigger concern with some of the storms tonight for the valley. This is the futurecast. As we go through the next like 24 hours or so, you can see the storms really start to strengthen in the high country, eastern Arizona, and then up towards Flag, even into Prescott. Prescott, which was an area that got hit quite hard yesterday with rain and some flooding. So like I said, it's coming from New Mexico, it's wrapping over the high country, and then it's falling down the mountainsides towards the valley. And the model's pretty much holding on to the idea that some of these will make it to the valley by around, like, say, 7, 8 o'clock at night and last potentially until like 9 or 10 at night as they kind of break up. I lean towards north to west parts of the valley a little better chance than because of the fact that we saw yesterday storms in the East Valley, but that does not mean the East Valley couldn't see some storms either. But tomorrow, you could see, guys, already the storm chances are starting to drop. That's tomorrow afternoon, and it's much quieter than today.
We have a couple comments. Dave Brusso, 6842, says, I lost power from 8:40 to 10:57 p.m. last night, SRP. And then Thomas Brown says Maricopa got a bunch of rain last night as well. So
yeah, we had some areas get pretty good rain amounts, and those winds were pretty gnarly across really the entire state with the storms that rolled through. So this has been quite the monsoon so far. It's only July.
I'm enjoying
That's what woke me.
Sure.
I am too.
All right, Crystal.
Congratulations.
Thank you. All right. Well, speaking of that, those storms moving through yesterday, this is kind of an unusual story. One of the United flights that was coming in from Houston, coming in to land at Phoenix Sky Harbor, had to divert and actually land at Luke Air Force Base.
Yeah, it certainly did. We don't hear about this often. Sometimes this information better than I do, but they probably would divert maybe like to Tucson or Las Vegas rather than this. Carrier says that last night's monsoon storm led the flight crew to decide it was safest to do this and land at the air base. United then arranged to have the passengers bust all the way to Sky Harbor. So we're going to continue to follow on that. But I have never heard of such a thing happening in all my time that I've been here.
Oops, hold on. I pushed the wrong button. I'm sorry.
Don't push any more buttons.
This is the what year was it? This is the right button. I apologize. So these are the top stories on our website
I was very confused.
Right now.
I thought we were moving ahead past
No,
this.
I know. We're not supposed to.
Okay, major grocery store chain beating out Walmart and Aldi in a price war as shoppers hunt for checkout relief. We are talking about Fry's grocery stores. They've got the best deals. New study says it costs 15 store-based. They looked at 15 store brand essentials. Kroger, Walmart, Aldi, Albertsons, so like milk, bread, eggs, chicken breast, spaghetti, canned beans. And Kroger ranked number 1 with the total basket cost of $30.
There you go. That's not bad.
Head to Kroger.
All right. The second most clicked on story on our website right now is obviously about those storms that moved through portions of the central areas of our state, including the Prescott Valley area, which really hit hard. We saw some localized flooding up there from all of the rain. So that is the number 2 most clicked on story on fox10phoenix.com.
And then we have a 13-year-old autistic boy who was found dead in a canal, Salt River, Pima, Maricopa Reservation. Absolutely tragic. 13 years old, nonverbal, walked off and was found in that irrigation canal. He went missing back on July 12th. So we had Salt River Police Department, Mesa Police, Maricopa County Sheriff's Office searching for him. And the mother speaking out, saying she just doesn't want this to happen. She doesn't want her son to be a statistic, doesn't want it to happen to anybody else.
All right. We're going to move things along here, you guys, with our next story. We always talk about how AI is moving in. Kids are using laptops and tablets and everything in the classroom. But what if you step back and kind of reverted to the old school way?
And just read a book?
And just read a book.
Pen and paper.
That's what we're talking about here
I
this
like
morning.
that.
We have Christina. She's the Executive Director of Artemis Adolescent Healing Center. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me
Well,
today.
thanks for coming in. Let's talk about this because obviously that's how I grew up. We didn't have the laptops, the tablets,
the Kindles
AI.
even.
Right.
So talk about some of these schools are actually kind of reverting back to, I guess you could call it the old school way. Why is that?
Well, it's important that we still have critical thinking skills. So it's so easy to get on AI and let it do the thinking for us, when really it should be more like a steady partner for us, where it can help extend our thought, but we need to still set with the problem and come up with what way we think we should solve it.
So how do we find that line then?
That even balance.
That balance. How do we know when to use it, when to have it as a partner, when to put it down and do it on our own?
Healthy boundaries. And we practice this at Artemis too with the kids. We call it social detox. So it's okay to set with your problem that you have at school and be bored with it. That's when creativity is going to start, and that's when your mind's going to start. And so you have to figure out when you need to come up with that solution to that problem, and then you can always use AI to help, because it's important to learn how to use that too, because it's a big thing. But then you can use AI to extend your answer or help grow what your thought was.
Christina, how long ago did you guys kind of maybe start to step back away from all the technology and say, let's revert back to the old school way.
Because everyone else is kind of pushing the technology.
Everyone is, but since the beginning of Artemis, we've done social detox because there's a level of anxiety, of connection that the kids have to be with everyone and everything, and so being able to have real connections, sitting there, it's important to mimic this in your home. Have dinner without being on your phone. Have a bedroom-free space with no technology. Set and do your homework with your phone in the other room so that it's not your go-to, so you can learn other ways.
You mentioned some of the things at home. Have the kids started to maybe implement this in home, and is that important for parents to kind of, I guess, mimic what they're doing in the classroom as far as kind
and
of
how can they enforce it and teach their kids it's okay to put that phone down? You don't have to be attached.
Yes, it's so important. So parents should definitely mimic what the healthy boundaries are. So as parents, if we're sitting at the table during dinner on our phones, but yet we expect our children not to be, then we're not setting
hypocritical,
the example.
right?
We are hypocritical. Yes. So it's very important. It's setting healthy boundaries, and the kids are so addicted to their phones. They can't have.
Adults are too.
Oh yes. Yeah.
It's like a second appendage, or a third, or a fourth,
It
fifth.
forms.
It very much is.
Whatever.
See, look, maybe you should ask AI. What's a good starting point for parents if they're watching? 5 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, put that phone down, put that gadget away, and maybe read a book, or let's do something where we're getting the mind flowing a little.
I would start with dinner. No devices at dinner. Start there. And then inch into, okay, you're now doing your homework right now. We're going to not have the device for this time. And explain why the kid needs the device. If they say, I need this for school, why? Can we try to figure out the problem without using the device?
If folks want more information about Artemis, how can they find more, Christina?
You can go online to artemisaz.com, and we have tons of resources for parents, for kids.
Perfect. Well, we
Thank
appreciate
you.
your time here this morning. That was really interesting. It makes me want to put down the phone, right?
Where is it? It's
Right
down.
here. It's over here.
It worked.
I know, right? It worked.
What year is it, Ty? What year is it?
All right, this is our favorite segment. What year was it? Let's take a look at the clue on this Tuesday. The U.S. Postal Service was established. All right, we got.
That was actually in the rundown, but I want you to know I did not Google it and I did not cheat.
Good job, because what happens to cheaters? They don't prosper.
What's your guess?
I have no idea.
Well, you have to think back. They had the Pony Express.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 1942.
Okay, I'm going to go even earlier than that. I'm going to go 36.
Well, Dave is laughing at us, by the way.
If only you could see what's happening behind the scenes. Anita is just ruthless today. Wow.
But you know who is absolutely brilliant? Our director, Glenn Anderson.
So U.S. Postal Service was established. You and I were way off. I mean,
Glenn, point that camera at yourself before we review. Come
he doesn't
on, Glenn.
want
You've
to.
been on before.
He doesn't want to play games with us today.
He knew all this.
Yeah, he was like, you guys are way off.
You know what? It's because the question was in the rundown and Glenn cheated.
No, I don't think so. So here's the answer.
Smart.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
We got some answers in there. We got an 1899, an 1896, a 1901. Thomas Brown was 1775.
That's a little too close for comfort, Thomas. I'm impressed.
Because the answer is 1775.
I mean, does that count as Pony Express? I don't know.
So the Postal Service officially established July 26, 1775 by the Second Continental Congress, with Benjamin Franklin appointed as the first Postmaster General.
We're 5 days away from the big anniversary.
There you go.
That's impressive.
So put
How
that
many
in
years?
You do the math. That is not my strong suit. All right, you guys, we've got our next guest here in studio. This is actually really important. It's kind of a one-stop shop. Walmart is doing what they call their Wellness Day, and it's coming up this Saturday, the 25th. So to break it all down for us, let you know what they can offer you, is Ian. I was practicing.
It's always when we ask, how do you say your name? And you say Ian, and then we say Ian.
No, it's Ian Ivancic.
Ian Ivancic. Very close,
got it.
though.
I even wrote it out phonetically, and I screwed it up. I apologize.
That's okay.
All right.
We're not laughing at you. We're laughing at Ty.
Yeah.
What you do is very important.
Thank you.
Tell us about Wellness Day.
So we're going to do Wellness Day this Saturday from 10 to 2 at Walmarts across the country. It's just a way to see your pharmacist out in the store. So when you come to the pharmacy, we're behind the counter. We're accessible, but we're not fully accessible. This Saturday, we'll be there. You can come talk to us. You can ask your questions. We're offering free health services, blood pressure screenings, glucose readings. You can also get your A1C and cholesterol tested for like a small fee. But yeah, pretty much any question you might have, like we're going to be out in the store, accessible to you.
I feel like the pharmacist is kind of like that first line of defense, right? You might not even go to the doctor, but you may have some questions or concerns.
Yes.
And how many times do we, it's like, hi, excuse me,
That is
can I take these for this?
Yeah, no, I mean, many people are going to come to the pharmacy before they see the doctor because we're there pretty much every day.
For a reason.
Yeah, it's we're just the most accessible by far. So it's not uncommon for people to come through and have these questions. And sometimes you can help them. Sometimes you'll have to let them know that, well, you might need some additional care here. But yeah, it's awesome. That's why we're there, to help you guys out.
And I mean, Anita mentioned it, but this is going to be kind of a great day, kind of a stopgap a little bit, so to speak, because folks can come there. Sometimes medical care is expensive. People don't have insurance, but this is kind of a way to get that for free for some of these basic tests, right, and screenings.
Yeah, I mean, you're not sure, like, am I diabetic? I never go to the doctor. I don't know.
Sure.
You can come here and get a free glucose reading. You don't have to buy yourself a meter. You don't have to do anything.
That's a blood test.
Yeah, just a normal like finger stick.
Okay.
So,
Do people need to fast or do anything special for that?
You don't have to do anything special, but we're just going to ask the question. You know,
Okay.
If you were fasting, okay, this is a good number for you. If you weren't fasting, this is a good number for you.
Got it.
You can come. However you come, we'll be able to help you out in some way.
And the results you get right away?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep. Within like 30 seconds. So
Yeah.
Very, very quick.
How much fun is this for you to be able to kind of do this and give back to the community? Because I know that Walmart, there's a Walmart in every corner, it seems like, here in Arizona. And this is a great way for folks to go to their local Walmart, meet their pharmacist kind of face to face, and then get some of these tests.
Yeah, when you're in the store, when you're in the box that is the pharmacy, you have time at the window. Sorry, but you have limited time.
Sure.
So when we're out there, we're there for 4 hours, uninterrupted. You can spend 30 minutes talking to someone if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
So it's just it's a great way to be more present and to get a lot more done.
Take us through these blood pressure screenings. The numbers always confuse me. I just
listen,
never
I'm
know
with
because
you.
it'll be like it's like football. You're like third line down at 55. It's like I don't know what any of that means. And some days you're like 41 over 170, and they're like great. And then the next time you go in, you're like 75 over 80, and they're like great. And it's like, well, it's different. So you do that. You could go in. Walmart has a little cuff where you can do it yourself. But when you guys are reading it, I know everyone's going to be different, but what are healthy ranges? What are good ranges?
Yeah, so the machines that have the kiosks are great, but it's even better, of course, to have us do it so we can talk about it. 120 over 80 and below would be normal for people that aren't already hypertensive. If you already have like diagnosed hypertension, then it's going to be a little higher, like below 130 over 80. So it kind of depends what your status is. Same thing there. You can come, we can check that for you. And then if it's at a healthy level, great, you're doing great. If it's a little elevated, well, then we can maybe recommend that you do see a physician to get on a medication. Yeah, 120/80 for most people.
That's the sweet spot.
Yes, 130/90 for people that are already hypertensive that are on medication. That would be them doing well for their situation.
That conversation's important to have. Like you said, some people don't have health care, they don't go see a doctor, and being able to talk to a person who says, this might be concerning, maybe we should take it a step further.
Yeah, I would say the blood glucose stuff is even more important than that, because I think people have a pretty good handle on the blood pressure things, other than you.
I mean, mine's great, knock on wood. I just never know how to read it. Someone has to tell me.
No, the sugar levels, which where you don't necessarily feel poor from either of those two things. For having high blood pressure, having high sugars, you don't necessarily feel that. But when you come to Walmart and I check your blood sugar and it's like 350, well,
is that high?
Very, yeah. That would be very high.
Where's the sweet spot for a blood sugar?
Same idea. If you haven't been eating anything, then you want it to be like 100 or below. If you have eaten something recently, then below like 150, 160. So it depends your own personal situation.
Gotcha.
But when you see someone that presents with like 300, then we're going to tell you like, hey, if you don't have primary care, you should look into getting it. That's a very, very high number. Start to take care of yourself a little better.
So walk us through this. Is going to be happening at all Walmarts or just specific Walmarts? How do folks find out which one will be participating?
Yeah, any place with a Walmart pharmacy.
Oh, really?
So if there's a Walmart pharmacy, we'll be there on Saturday in stores. If there's a vision center at that Walmart, then they're also offering free screenings there.
Oh.
So fewer
Vision?
stores. Yeah.
Wow.
And the stores with vision centers.
Okay.
So
mine has a vision. I need a screening. You're also going to have GLP education. That's such a big thing right now.
It's huge. So yeah, that's a thing that obviously is more and more and more in the mainstream now, especially now with like the weight loss benefits.
Yeah.
There's a lot happening in that space. There's a new bridge program. So with people that have Medicare Part D, if you're eligible, meeting a certain amount of criteria, you can get those medicines $50. So that's a huge change. I think people are used to seeing, oh, I got my prescription, I went to the pharmacy, it's going to be $300. Well, this will be a big change if you're Medicare Part D and eligible. So yeah, that's very exciting. We also offer resources online at walmart.com, so you can see other ways that we can support you to get those prescriptions, to just more resources.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Have you seen those prescriptions increase though for all the Manjaros and the
more people.
Wegovy
We had numbers in that yesterday. I think it was we were talking about how many more people in the U.S. are on the GLPs, but also how much better the numbers are.
The numbers
as far as diabetes and just health issues.
Yeah, the bridge program will be specifically for obesity. So the medicines came out and they were for diabetes, but then we saw there's this great benefit in weight loss as well. So some of them have been approved just for weight loss, and so those are the ones that are going to be covered in this bridge program. Select numbers of them. But yeah, so weight loss is obviously very important. It affects so much of your health that if you're able to get that under control with the help of a medication, like you absolutely should. Someone
is asking if you're doing all the testing there, or do they go to to a third party, to a lab or anything like that?
No, so it's on site. The glucose check is a normal fingerprint, similar to how you do it if you got a glucose monitor at home. If you do elect to do one of the A1C checks or the cholesterol checks for a small fee, that's also done on site. Now, it's not the same as going to your local diagnostic place and getting a full panel, but it's another way to just get a quick picture.
Start.
Okay, these numbers are elevated. Maybe you should look into getting a full screening.
It's nice to get that kind of snapshot, just so you have a baseline to kind of, I guess, over the next couple of years to just measure.
And it's not invasive either.
Yeah.
It's a finger prick versus you go to the doctor's office or
I don't like that
Quest.
either.
You get your blood draw.
Let's not talk about that. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Walmart.com, all the info on locations will be there.
All right,
thank you.
10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at all of those pharmacies. Ian, thank you. I got your name right this time.
You're welcome. Thanks, Doc.
You're
Good
sure
to
about
see
that?
you. I did. I got it right. All right, well, let's talk about what we're talking about here on this Tuesday. I lost my sheets.
United Airlines. Yeah, the flight was diverted. Did we do that? We didn't do that.
Yeah, we did. That was the first one we did. We talked about it. Do you guys remember that? Yeah. Maybe she needs a ginkgo biloba. Do you have a memory enhancer?
We did talk about it. I thought we skipped it and went right to what you're reading. Hi, happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome in. This is Ty and Anita with Fox 10 Talk.
Jam-packed show.
Okay, we have an update on a drowning call.
No, we don't. Not doing the news. We're doing the what you're talking about.
Well,
the viral videos.
I thought you said what we're watching.
No, we're doing viral videos, but now I can't find any of the scripts.
Yeah, maybe I should make an appointment.
Yeah.
Oh, I have those.
You printed them out because I don't have them.
You printed those out.
I printed them?
You printed them, and I put them.
Are we
under
still live? Are we still on TV? Ian, thank you.
Okay, let's talk about cups of coffee.
I printed them, but I don't know where I put them.
I don't either, but I have them.
Okay, go ahead and read them.
Okay, let's talk about cups of coffee.
Let's
New
do
research
it.
says multiple cups of your morning Joe may not hurt your heart's health. According to a new statement, every day is just an adventure. According to a new statement published by the American Heart Association, drinking up to 5. How many cups of coffee do you drink a day?
Well, I'm not going to say that out loud.
Why? It's not a crime.
It's a lot, though.
More than 5? No.
Well, caffeine.
Look at him
in
hiding.
Okay, so in the morning, I have 2 double Nespresso pods. 2 of those.
Double? How do you do a double?
Well, there's
They're
a
just
single
bigger.
and a double, so it's the double one. So I do 2 of those in the morning.
Okay.
And then I come home and I have
So that's 4 cups of coffee, or?
energy drink.
Okay.
And then I do a mid-afternoon, probably Diet Coke.
So
there's a lot of caffeine.
Up to 5 8-ounce cups of coffee a day is generally safe. I don't know, though, the Diet Coke and the energy drinks, how much more caffeine that would have than coffee.
Yeah, well, should we Google it?
Well, we should get the pharmacist back here
Yeah,
to
where'd
take
he
your
go?
pulse.
He already left.
Are
He
you okay?
ran out. He was like, I'm never coming
I'll
back
see you guys
here.
later.
How much
is too much?
in a cup of coffee?
Maybe I need a cup of coffee since I
a
forgot
cup of
that
coffee,
we did that.
95 milligrams in 1 cup of coffee.
Okay.
Okay.
Energy drink.
Oh, that's going to be a lot. Here we go. Energy drink. 74 milligrams.
Oh, that's less. That's not right.
That's not right. Hold
Google
on.
that brand.
Let's do Celsius because that's what I've been.
Poor Glenn and Dave.
No, this is great.
200 milligrams of caffeine.
So you're drinking like 25 cups of coffee a day.
Yeah. Well,
We have
what does
30
that
seconds.
say about me? Look out. That heart's
I don't
gonna
want to
just
say it.
explode.
I'm not the pharmacist.
Yeah, I know, right?
I don't want to diagnose you
No.
incorrectly, but I do highly suggest going with me Saturday.
All right.
Lotto?
We've got 15 seconds left.
Here.
Let's just look at what we're working on for
sure.
tomorrow. The ousted Venezuelan president Nicolas Maduro and his wife Cecilia Flores are scheduled for a court hearing in the U.S. District Court in New York. So that's one of the stories we'll be watching for tomorrow. All right. That's going to do it for us on this Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Now say bye.
Bye.
One of the very best first half hours of Fox 10 Talks comes your way right now. It's Ron and Des. Dean Fazzini is always back there looking around at cameras, and he popped up this one, Des. It might surprise you a little bit. That's near your hometown. That is Niagara Falls.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're getting hit with a storm.
With a doozy.
Wow.
So,
where are the falls?
Yeah, no kidding. All I see is that one big golf ball looking.
Wow.
Oh, it's getting worse right now.
Oh.
It's almost like, I know it's rain, but it almost feels like hail hitting the
I don't know what that golf ball looking
camera.
thing is.
Well, anyway.
Did Dean say, was this
on the American side?
Is this on the American side?
I would think it would be on the American
Probably.
side.
Yeah, it looks like it because the Canadian side is.
Yeah.
They have a lot more.
Look at that. Remember yesterday, Dean's cameras were like all filled with the smoky haze.
Yeah.
Today, it's so stormy you can't see 2 miles in front of you. That is really nuts.
I haven't talked to any of my family today.
Yeah.
But gosh, I'll check in with them today. So it looks like it's a pretty stormy day there.
Well,
the weather in Western New York, it's so bipolar.
Gosh, yes.
It was so hot and humid. And
Sure.
Right. They were experiencing a lot of that smoke from the wildfires there.
Oh,
in Canada.
gosh, I know.
And now this.
So it was, I think it was to the point where the air was unhealthy to breathe. And this is what they needed more than anything else was the rain to get in there and clear the air. So that's actually really good news. So it's election day. And it's apparently pretty hopping at some of these polling precincts.
Yes. As of this morning, I think we heard the numbers in the thousands of people casting their vote
in the first
early.
hour.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's find out what our Danielle has managed to figure out so far. She's there at Election Central. Are things still pretty quiet?
Yeah, they are. Good morning, guys. So we're about 5.5 hours into Election Day. And so far at last check, there's been about 22,000 check-ins for those in-person voting at the voting sites around Maricopa County. So we are here right now, and it does appear to be pretty quiet. This is the tabulation center, so we know it's typically pretty busy here, but not yet. It will get busier throughout the day when these poll workers will be showing up here to tabulate all of those ballots here. We know the first drop should come in right around 8 o'clock tonight. So I mentioned about 22,000. This is the primary election. That's pretty typical for this time. A general election, you typically see double that number of in-person votes so far as this check-in right now. So things are looking good, though. We have been checking in with the Maricopa County Elections Department to see if there's any type of issues. Nothing major reported so far this morning. If you have not yet headed out to vote, you have until 7 o'clock tonight to do so. I also wanted to pass along the website, locations.maricopa.vote. You can log on there. You can see all of the polling locations. They also have some real-time numbers of what you can expect to be waiting. I have been scrolling through that all morning long just to see if there's any type of backups or wait lines at any of those polling sites. So far, a lot of them that I'm looking at say 0 minutes. So no waits right now if you are heading out to the poll. So things appear to be on track, looking good so far this morning. Once again, that first drop will come in right around 8 o'clock tonight of those results.
One of the things I'm most interested to see, Danielle, is, I mean, let's face it, we're not as bad as California, but it does take many, many days on close races to count them. It's going to be fascinating to see. Now that people frequently by the thousands drop off their early ballot on election day, the fact that they can just show the ID, it can get scanned and counted right then and there, how much will that speed things up? It's going to be interesting.
It will definitely, and it is kind of the first year of that, so we don't really know right now. We don't have anything to base it off of to see exactly how much quicker things will come in. So I think this is the test run to see that. But yes, if you have your photo identification, if you do drop it off at those polling sites, it will tabulate automatically rather than having to wait for that signature verification. So hopefully the goal, the whole main purpose of that was to speed things up. So we will definitely be seeing come 8 o'clock tonight if it is successful here with that
All right.
implementation. location.
Love it. Thank you, Danielle.
Thanks, Danielle.
So who could we line up as a great guest better than Christopher Mann, who's going to be joining us right now?
Yes. Christopher, thank you for joining us this morning. The research director at the Center for Election Innovation and Research. We were just speaking with our reporter, Danielle, who's here on the ground following everything primary election day for us at the polling location. So as it relates to Arizona's election and some of our policies and procedures, that, as we talked about, it's new this year that when you drop off that early ballot today, for example, you can have that counted right then and there. Are you thinking that's going to make a big impact on when we see these final numbers start to come in?
Well, thanks, Desiree and Ron, for having me this morning. I do think that it will be a big difference. This is not totally brand new in Arizona. There have been a few jurisdictions that have been using this, so it's a tried and tested method. And yeah, the intention is to allow those ballots to be counted quicker. One of the things with these ballots that are dropped off, they're mailed out to folks. We need to really carefully check the identity on these ballots, and that takes time. So when that's done at the polling place, because people are showing their ID, then it's done. When polls close on election night, they have all those ballots. They can go straight into the counting process. Anyone who doesn't drop off their ballot at the polling place, we have to check their signature, and that takes time. And as Danielle was just talking about, those ballots have to go from the polling place or the drop box into the tabulation center for all that to happen. So multiple steps, and it takes time. Take all those out when people's ballots are dropped off.
What is the Center for Election Innovation and Research? What do you guys do?
So we are a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization. We work with local and state election officials across the country to study their processes and practices and laws and try to help them get better. So we talk with election officials about these ideas like dropping off the ballot and having the ID checked at the polling place. Right, that's something that we talk to election officials about all over the country to speed up this process. So those are the kinds of things we work with them on, the nuts and bolts of elections to make them more secure, quicker ballot counting, all of those things to try to boost confidence in elections all across the country.
So as you take one step back, big picture wise, because you guys look at all 50 states, what's your sort of state of the state of voting here in 2026? Are you encouraged by states that are making some changes, or where do you come down on it all?
Well, I think what we've seen is actually from 2024 to 2026, there have been far fewer changes than we have seen in recent elections. We all remember all the changes that were made in 2020, but we've seen options for voting, like voting by mail and early in person, expand over a number of years. But those kinds of things are now really widespread across all 50 states, and we're not really seeing those options change across states. So I think we have stability. I also think it's important to keep in mind, right, 2020 was miraculous in the pandemic, extremely well-run election, probably the best in history, certainly the most scrutinized in history. And then, got better in 22, better in 2024. And I think we'll be better in 2026 because election officials keep learning, keep working. For a lot of us, we're paying attention to Election Day today for the first time. Election officials have been working on this for months. They've been getting ready for months, thinking about how they could do what they did in 2024 and do it better for 2026.
Mm-hmm. And given all your research, what is your opinion? What are, maybe the two things that, create the most successful, the smoothest election process?
Well, I think Arizona's moved in the right direction here, like with this making the ballot counting quicker. That's certainly one of the biggest controversies that we've seen in Arizona and a number of other states. So I think that's a big deal. Right, encouraging people to cast their ballots early in person if they want to cast it in person rather than waiting for Election Day. That also smooths out the process. Means that if somebody forgets their ID when they come to the polls, they can go back, get it, still participate without problems. Really smooth those things out. So yeah, those are some of the big things that I see. And the preparation, right? You have great election officials across all the counties in Arizona. Of both parties. These are hardworking individuals. They're working to make sure the election works in their community. And they've been doing a lot of hard work to get ready for this. And they are the people, whether you're talking about the chief election official or the people who volunteer and work the polls, right? Those are the people who really make elections work. And they've been getting ready for a long time.
We got about a minute left here. Short of making sure that states can perhaps count accurately, but a little more efficiently, a little bit more quickly. I think that maybe eliminates some doubt. People sometimes are like, it's been a week and a half. When, it starts to raise doubts in voters' minds. Beyond that, beyond maybe moving the time frame up, but still be accurate and efficient, what else can be done to help people feel like, in an era when there's been a lot of talk about, do we really know for sure if our elections are safe and secure? Anything else that could be done?
Yeah, I think there are two really important things. Election officials being as transparent as possible, and you have some great role models in Arizona. People can go in and take a tour of the tabulation center where Danielle was, not today while they're busy, but other times there's live streams, there's cameras everywhere, trying to put the data up online so people can look at it themselves. But on the other side, I think there's something for voters here too, to remember that this process takes time. And yes, we want to know the results right away. But as you just said, Ron, we also want them to be accurate. And that takes time. And it has always taken time. And there are lots of steps built into this. So in the next 2 weeks after Election Day, all the results will be checked. They'll be rechecked. There are all these safeguards in place. And those take time before we get the official election results.
Okay.
All right.
Really good. Love hearing some of the positive. You don't always hear the positive.
Yeah, that was nice to hear some Arizona praise there.
Yeah, for sure.
Christopher, thank you.
There's a lot of positive, and I want voters to hear that.
Awesome. Christopher, thanks. Christopher,
All right,
again,
thank
from the
you.
Center for Election Innovation and Research. We appreciate you.
By the way, I should just mention we got a great poll question today. Dave, of course, monitors your comments, and we'll go through it just real quick here. Here's the QR code. The numbers have shifted somewhat in the last hour, and then we'll take a quick peek at YouTube as well. But should the U.S. escalate the war against Iran? There's been quite a bit of talk of that in the last 48 hours. 75% say yeah. Yeah, they need to pay for the deaths of our service members. Almost 25% are saying no, we could just head into a long, endless war. The other option, don't escalate, but don't leave. Just let the blockade work.
And then on YouTube here, we've got 3,000 votes this morning. 40% of folks say yes, they must pay for the deaths of our service members. 53% say no, we could just end up getting in a very long, endless war here. And 7% say do not escalate, don't leave, just let the blockade work.
All right, so here's what's coming up after a quick break. Ooh, I like this mystery cam. We have Trenton Hooker. He has been digging into this wild story. All that storm activity last night, flights were delayed, except one didn't land at Sky Harbor. It landed in a different location of the valley. First mystery cam. All right, we always have fun with a mystery cam. Des, do you have a guess? There is some construction activity on the right side of the street. I'll just point that out. Some kind of a cool park in the middle with a couple of markers, an American flag, and it is really flapping in the wind. So where do you think it is?
Well, because the first camera was in Niagara Falls, I'm wondering if this is somewhere in somewhere in Western New York still.
Really?
Buffalo, but
okay.
It kind of looks like it could be downtown Buffalo in a way-ish, but that field right there.
Possibly a
that's
Schenectady?
Yeah.
Or a Utica?
Not.
No?
Maybe.
Okay. So you go in New York, your home state.
I'll go New York.
Okay. I'm going to go Midwest somewhere. Could it be a Michigan?
Yeah.
Could it be an Illinois or Wisconsin? Let's see.
This one's tough. Louis says
Yes?
Tennessee.
Oh, thank you, Louis.
Yes, maybe.
Brandon.
Miguel, Alabama.
Okay.
And Outlaw Dynamo says Michigan.
Okay. I'll go with Outlaw. I'll go Michigan.
Michigan?
Yep.
Should we have Trenton guess?
Sure. Trenton,
Our
world
next
traveler,
guest,
Trenton
so he's
Hooker.
watching.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what those flags are on the bottom.
I know.
I'm going to say Minnesota.
It does look cold. I will say that.
It does.
Yeah, which is hot as we're going to be about 3 days from now. Pushing that 114. Cold looks good. Okay, well, here we go.
Kind of stumped on this one.
Yeah.
All right, it is Flint, Michigan.
Okay. There you go.
Wow.
There you go.
Bang. Way to go, Trenton.
Good job.
Yeah, there
Oh,
it
no,
is.
Outlaw Dynamo was right.
Oh,
I said
that's right.
Minnesota.
Wait.
Oh,
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
Okay, good job.
Oh, so I was the one who was correct.
Yeah.
You forgot your own guess.
Brother. Well, you got
Love
a lot going on. So that is Flint. That's good.
Okay. There you go.
I've told my Flint story so many times, I'm not going to tell it again. But there have been many surveys that it comes in dead last in the most livable cities in America. And so we got off the freeway one time and just kind of drove through. It was kind of quiet. They could use a little spice up. I think. Something along those lines.
They've been through a lot.
So you've heard...
82 degrees there right now, though.
Oh, 82?
You know, right? Yeah.
It doesn't
looks
look
cold,
like
but,
it. Wow.
Mostly cloudy with the temp of 82 degrees.
You just heard the voice of Trenton Hooker.
Hey, guys.
Trent and I were chatting early this morning, Des, and I'm like, Trent, there is a great story. We're trying to figure out what was really going on with this United flight. Imagine you're on board, and you're coming home. It's nighttime, so probably a lot of Phoenix people coming in from Houston, and the next thing you know, you land, but it doesn't look familiar.
No, landing at Luke Air Force Base.
Yeah, a military facility. Whoa, what happened? So on the approach that they were making coming back, so this was about 8 o'clock when they started entering kind of that final descent to go to Sky Harbor. Had a lot of weather move in, from the East Valley as it was rolling through, and Sky Harbor wanted to hold those flights, to kind of see what would develop out, because I believe, at least per flight radar, they were saying gusts were up to 68 miles per hour for that flight. So some were able to be easily diverted to Las Vegas to make that in Tucson for the others. But for this flight in particular from George Bush International coming through, they had to land at Luke Air Force Base. Apparently, they didn't have the capacity at that moment in Goodyear to land it per the air traffic control, but the folks on board, you're waiting, like you said, to come into Sky Harbor as it's happening, but boom, you land and you're in a military facility, so pretty interesting. But some of the comments we were going through on this is on Reddit. We're showing this woman here posted a photo of getting onto an Air Force bus that then transported them to Sky Harbor. And the gentleman who posted this photo with the stair runway going in, he says that they were at least on the ground for 2 hours after they landed at Luke Air Force Base, saying
before they would let them off.
Correct, saying we're now waiting on the last bus to show so they can deplane us. Due to the nature of Luke Air Force Base, we've been escorted to the buses and then driven off the base. It's currently unclear if the Air Force bases will take us to Phoenix are just off the base where United will arrange for a second set of buses to complete the journey. He said, United, if you're listening, I want my premier qualifying points for the bus ride to Sky Harbor.
For those extra 32 miles. Yeah. Tack it on to the 1,400 from Houston.
Right. But apparently there was a back and forth per their account with the pilot asking Luke Air Force Base, hey, can you just refuel our plane to give us enough so we can take off and then land at Sky Harbor? But that wasn't in the cards last night.
Oh.
Well, a
Was there a
military
reason why?
installation.
Don't know.
Yeah. Right. You're going to play it safe.
Yeah.
Very safe.
Some were speculating, too, that just the a military plane refueling it compared to a commercial one, it's a different system, everything. And I'm sure the training in that, too, having our armed forces do that, it's a little out of the cards.
And there's a difference in runway, right? We were mentioning
per this person, saying when they were landing, one of the runways are shorter than what they're used to at Sky Harbor at Luke Air Force Base. That's where the F-35s train with the 52nd Fighter Wing. So it's a little bit different sort of circumstance. But they said when they landed, it was felt like it was short. The person next to them kind of banged their head a bit. So
all other aircraft were able to divert to wherever air traffic control wanted to go, which frequently is Tucson or Vegas.
Right.
But this plane could not. Should we be surprised that this one plane didn't have the fuel that all the rest of them did?
A little bit. Per the, we had flight radar saying with the air traffic control traffic with the radio between the pilot and the tower, was saying they had about 15 minutes of fuel left. So that's cutting it close.
Scary.
Yeah. United said, of course, that they did their job to the best of their ability, safely landed all those passengers, and it was a success. But, when you hear you're that close to the line, that's kind of concerning for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll know a little bit more as it's coming out.
I'm sure by the end of the day or maybe tomorrow, a lot of these people come forward and start sharing their stories.
For sure.
What a wild situation.
Yep.
Okay, Trenton.
Just glad they're safe. Glad he made it.
Yeah,
and
sure.
He, at least was able to land it. So.
Yeah.
Right. Well, if you're an airline executive, that's what you're going to put in the release. Your safety is our top priority.
Right.
Never mind, we only had 15.
Forget that part.
Yeah.
Wow. Trenton, very good. Great reports.
Thank you,
guys. And by the way, Trenton is continuing to look for some of that tower, the sound back and forth between the pilot and the tower.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to get more confirmation.
2 hours of it already.
Yeah.
Maybe
we'll get through
there was more fuel. Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay, Des, this coffee chat is one that I think is worth it. Do you drink a lot of coffee?
Not a lot. I mean, I have my daily cup.
Okay, so what you're seeing right here, it would be somewhat similar. You'd have like a 12-ounce cup of coffee. That's about it.
No, not even 12. I'll do an 8-ounce cup in the morning, and that's it.
And then maybe a energy drink.
It depends on what I got going on the rest of the day. Yeah. Yep. Or I just siphon my kids' energy because that's endless.
Gosh, no kidding.
You don't drink coffee.
No,
which I can't believe.
Well,
how
I drink.
You make it through the early hours.
I used to drink the most prominent sodas out there, but the more I looked into aspartame, I'm like, there's enough bad stuff.
Yeah.
I found a drink. It's called Sparkling Ice, and it was on sale at Safeway this week. I'm looking around. Anyway. It has no aspartame. I really thought that when RFK Jr., especially with some of these more recent studies on aspartame, when he came into office, he'd be like, you know what? There are many other alternatives. Let's start going down that road. But it's an individual choice.
Yeah.
We know the president loves his Diet Coke, so I don't know if anything's going to be changing in that regard. But according to this study, drinking 3 or 4, maybe max of 5 8-ounce cups. Now hold on, because when you go to Starbucks and you get a grande or something,
how many ounces
like 32
is that?
or
so what? That's their medium, right?
Yeah.
So I
What's
would
the big one?
Maybe that's at least a 12-ounce. I don't know.
Gosh.
Probably.
I see some cups that to me look like they're 24 to 30.
I lose track after grande because I only do a tall or a grande.
Yeah. Well, so one tall or one grande might put you closer to the list, but they do say it's linked to a lower risk of heart conditions. And then they do say it applies to black coffee, but adding sugar or syrups or cream reduces.
Well, that
the
makes
health
sense once you
benefits.
start adding the cream and the sugar, right? Then you got to look at what's in the cream.
Right. Right.
So yeah.
Okay,
so enjoy your coffee.
Let's talk about the new trend in dating. It's at the grocery store. Let's say you're wandering through the grocery store aisle and you say to yourself, I'm not that interested in the produce. I'm interested in the lady at the checkout stand. Not the employee, the lady who's like standing right in front of me. I wonder if I could ask her for a date. So why are we chatting about this? A supermarket over in Europe is looking to help single shoppers with a new system. They have color-coded grocery baskets for people who show up and want to send those subtle signals, Des.
I love this. This is kind of a good idea, right? Because you don't, right? I think everybody does the hand check, right? I remember doing that.
What is the hand check? The ring.
Check his hand.
Okay.
Like, oh no, but that's never.
Sure.
That's not a great test because maybe they just didn't wear their ring that day, or they don't wear it to the grocery store, or they just came from the gym or whatever.
Right.
So the grocery basket hack is genius, in my opinion.
Okay.
So apparently it's in Finland, right?
Yes, right.
Where they're doing this. It's a pink-colored grocery basket for singles. So if you're carrying the pink-colored grocery basket, well, then it's kind of like obvious. Like, yes, I'm single. I have this basket. So there's your in. You don't have to like check on the finger for a ring.
Okay.
So it's pretty,
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. Unless, I guess, someone doesn't know about this and they're married and then they grab a pink basket. Then
it could happen, right?
You got a whole lot to explain.
Oh my gosh, I could totally see that happening. All right, so we were chatting about fun stories today, and this comes from Seattle. This is Jimothy the viral raccoon. He doesn't look like the others. He has a shorter spine.
Look at him.
So people are looking at him, they're like, what is that?
Oh.
I mean, it almost looks like a Tasmanian devil, if you ask me. But he's a raccoon. He just looks a little bit different. But he's gone viral. They love him in Seattle, really. I think all around the world he's got a big fan base. And why not? Because Dmitry Ishimsky decided to post about it. How about that?
That poor raccoon. Hey, at least he's still able to scratch his back.
See you tomorrow, everybody.
See ya.